Let us sing this one by Rev Sky St. John, and it's a very simple chant, and it's freedom from the darkness, freedom from the fear. Freedom from the darkness, freedom from the fear. Would you sing that with me? Freedom from the darkness, freedom from the fear. Again, freedom from the darkness, freedom from the fear. Last time, freedom from the darkness, freedom from the fear, freedom, oh freedom, forever free. Would you join me? Freedom, oh freedom, forever free. Freedom, oh freedom, forever free. Last time. Freedom, oh freedom, forever
Friends, if it's comfortable, I want to invite you to close your outer eyes and open those inner eyes that can see forever. With a gentle breath, simply relax a little more deeply into your seat. And as you exhale, start to feel all of your intention and your attention going inward, away from these senses of the manifest world and into that inner sense, that knowing, that intuition, that creative spark of divinity within. That creative spark that lights up you in consciousness, because you are an individualized creative expression. You are light. You are light, forever free. Not contained, not shackled, not bound to anything, but free. You are light. And with another gentle exhalation, just relax even more deeply and turn away from these external senses and become fully immersed as the light in consciousness. And with your faculty of imagination, see this light within shining brightly, illuminating all that you are. Illuminating all that is, because you are one with the one in this space of consciousness. feel the freedom of being light for just a moment in this stillness. In the silence. From this place in consciousness where I know my oneness, I am free. I am free from fear, from worry, from doubt, from lack, from limitation, because here in consciousness, light is unlimited. Light is unlimited, and I am free. I am free. I am free. And now, with full intention and attention, let's all bring our awareness back to this place and this time where, even though appearances would have it seem that we are separate from one another, separate in time and in space, and yet in consciousness, we know that there is here and there is now. We know that I am one with the one, and I am free. I am free. Claim that with me in this time together. I am free. And so with joy and gratitude, we bring our attention back to this time and this place to be freedom, to be light. I am one with the one. I am light. I am free. This we claim in the name and with the power of the living Christ that shines in us. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
And as we prepare to receive Rev Todd's message, let us do this one. This one is by Karen Drucker, and it's called May I Walk. And if you know it, please sing along with me. the seasons. May I walk in peace on this path. May I walk through my life. May I walk in old age. May I walk in peace. May I walk, 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 may I walk in peace, in joy. May I walk in love. May I walk in gratitude. May I walk in peace, in stillness. May I walk in forgiveness. May I walk in loving kindness. May I walk in peace. May I walk, 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 may I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. May we walk in peace.
Some more fantastic music, Deidrey. Thank you. That meditation song, she said, was from Sky St. John. Y'all know that name. Do you remember why? He's the one that did the Restaurant of Life. I told you about that one time. You always get what you order. So thank you for bringing up Reverend Sky, Deidrey. Starting on Wednesday morning, I'm on a couple of private Facebook groups of ministers, and the number one question this week was, "What are y'all going to talk about Sunday?" What are y'all going to talk about Sunday? And I don't know what your Wednesday was like, but I have to tell you that my Wednesday stank. Literally stank, because I was at home attending the Unity Worldwide Ministries annual meeting online, and suddenly there was an explosion in my bathroom. Not kidding. And I looked out the front window, and there was a Morehead City truck there, and they were blowing out the sewer lines. It was all, everything was clean, but when they're blowing out the sewer lines, I don't know if y'all knew this. I didn't know this. It would have been nice to have a heads up, but they blew out the line, and as it blows out the line, it sucks all the water that's in your commode trap. And so it sucks the water out of your commode trap, and then the air rushes in, and all the water that's in your bowl goes all over your bathroom. Now, luckily, I don't know if you know this, with feng shui, you're supposed to keep your commode lid closed, and I do that. So y'all, that's another reason you should keep everything closed in the bathroom. But I had, but in doing that, because it knocked out that trap, my Wednesday was stinking. Y'all thought I was going somewhere else with this, didn't you? But I had to sit there through this meeting, and I'm sure y'all cannot believe this of me, but I have some very strong feelings about some of the politics involved in Unity Worldwide Ministries. and and there were some things that were said that honestly were very kind and very loving. And I thought, that's not the way I see it. Has anybody felt that way maybe this week? Some point in time. And then I realized I finally understood this word that has shown up. I have a friend who is an Enneagram person. Y'all know the Enneagram, and some of you know that. And so, one of the what does he call it? I think it's my path of progression is to seek equanimity. And I have always been like, well, what on earth does equanimity mean? And I've never really gotten it until Wednesday. And that's where this title comes from, Extraordinary Equanimity. Extraordinary equanimity. Not that it's a special kind of equanimity, because equanimity is equanimity. To me, it's all extraordinary, where we can stay centered, where we can be in the stillness and still walk in peace. Where we can see in the manifest world something that maybe doesn't look the way we want it to, and we can still stay centered and balanced and a part of harmony. A part of harmony. And I don't know if y'all have noticed, but there is some deep division in the world. There is a number of things that are beginning to happen that would take people who want to be centered in their stillness and walk in peace. And things happen and jostle them, right? I'm friends online with a young woman whom I have never met. And it's too long of a story to go into how I am possibly related to this young woman, but when this young woman was born into her family, she was born a man. And she was talking this week about going to buy a gun. Then I saw on Facebook another friend of mine who is the kindest, most wonderful person I have ever known, who is not afraid of most things that when I think of girls, terrified of lizards and snakes and frogs and all that sort of stuff. And if you love them, that's great and fine. Then you are along with this friend who if a 12-foot rattlesnake crawled through this sanctuary in this moment, she would walk over and pick it up because she has no fear. And she announced this week on social media that she was going to attend a conceal and carry class. And someone was like, I don't think you should be announcing that you're going to do that. And she said, if it gets at least one more person to join me so that they feel safe in the world, I'm okay with people knowing that I have a gun. Deidrey brought it up before service. If you were sitting in here, you may or may not know there are a number of states, including North Carolina, where there have been anonymous texts this week to black students telling them that they are to report on Monday morning to a plantation because they are going to be picking cotton. They have been selected. Equanimity. How do we find a place of balance when there is so much fear? How do we find a place of balance when politicians on both sides instill fear and a belief in separation and that we are different and they are other. And I see it on both sides. And so as I was, like, okay, what am I going to talk about this week? I have to focus on what I know about this community. This community that, whether you want to believe it or not, is a very diverse community. We read our daily word in multiple languages to remind us that we are a diverse yet inclusive community. And inclusive means that not everyone in this community, be they sit in this sanctuary, be they on Facebook, maybe they're in our Zoom sanctuary, but there are people who don't agree with you politically. Did you know that? Some of them have left. Some of them have left. Some of them have left because I'm too gay. And I don't really know what that means. I mean, and it, because I can pull up some clips of some very gay ministers. um, and yet we are called to love one another in spite of those things that are different. But maybe more importantly, we're called to love one another because of those things that are the same, that draw us together. Equanimity is a state of mental or emotional stability and composure, especially when faced with challenging or distressing situations. The past 20 years of my life have been a lesson in learning how to experience equanimity. Not the past week, not the past year, but the past 20 years at least. And probably more importantly is if I really sat and journaled about it, my lessons in learning to get to a place to understand what equanimity means will take more than 50 years. Learning how to be balanced and poised in the face of challenging or distressing situations is the path that we learn how to love one another. Because if we can just love one another when there are unicorns and rainbows and our sports team has won the Super Bowl, then we don't really love one another. Let's see where I'm going with this. So what binds us together? What binds us together as a community? Those of you that are current board members and those of you that are previous board members know that we've been on this journey of looking at our bylaws, our policy manual, our procedures. We've been looking at, okay, what does Crystal Coast Unity mean? What does Crystal Coast Unity believe? How are we agreeing to be in the world? And everything that I have done as a leader in this community has been driven by a list of words that we came up with. And it's been a couple years ago. But these words came together and helped me understand, who are we? Now, some people in this community have moved away. Some of them have released the mortal confines of this life to go on to their next adventure. Some people are still here in this community, and yet others have decided it doesn't fit. And yet when I look at this list of words and I learn to know the new people that are walking in, this still looks like a list of values for the people that I see here in person, the people that I see on this little screen that I'm watching. You're joining us online. Those people, the names that show up, that you've joined us on Facebook. Fellowship, integrity, trust, fun and laughter, accountability, teachings, respect, acceptance, freedoms, generosities of money, of time, of caregiving, practical spiritual growth, a prosperity consciousness, inclusivity, diversity, seeking and seeing the divinity in others, faith in an unlimited universe, connection. We value being love-based, and we value benevolence. That ties everyone in here together, I believe. I think that there's at least a half a dozen, if not all of them, that everyone in here can say, yes, that's who I want to be in this community. That's who I want to be in this manifest world, the playground of planet Earth. And so those values, if I can sink my teeth into those values, and I can understand that even if someone doesn't see through the lens I see through, that they still value connection. They still value love. They still value truth with a capital T, to understand and be the presence of love. And I don't believe that there's a one of us that doesn't care immensely about this community, about the community that we call our home, whether it's here in the Crystal Coast or whether it's in the southern part of Canada, or whether it's in South Carolina or New York City. And we have people that join and watch us from all over the place. Wherever that is, I know that you care about your community. I know that we care about the country that we live in. I know that we care about the world. And that is part of the light of consciousness that is shining forth from us. To be the light and to stay balanced. Even when people yell at us. Anybody been yelled at this week? I got yelled at this week by someone I loved immensely. Anir got yelled at. Well, I mean, I don't want to pick sides, but I bet Barbara had a reason. We encounter people every day that don't see through our lens. And maybe, just maybe, as opposed to talking about the issue, we can embody a conversation about the values that we hold. Tell me about how you want to be love in the world. Tell me how you want to be benevolence in the world. Tell me what inclusivity means to you. Because here in the obvious manifest planet Earth, I don't know about y'all, but I'm being faced with challenges and distressing situations. And I still have to find a way to be and walk and share peace in the world as I walk. And so do you. So do you. And let me tell you what I have learned in this brief, time around the sun that I have is that peace in me never goes along with being right. Doesn't mean I'm not right. But I don't always have to point out that, I'm right. If I was, I'm, I should like have a button I could put on every shirt that said, "I told you so." Right? I mean, but don't we understand how ridiculous we can be when we get tied up in the way things appear and what we think and all that, instead of focusing on and getting really clear on what is it that I value? And what is it that we value? And that we can be the person that you work with. It could be the cashier at the grocery store. There is something that ties you together, that binds you together in your freedom. Find out what that is. Stop focusing on what you disagree on. Because the truth is, as I was looking up and studying this, I found this incredible cartoon. We're looking for something that's disruptive, but not unprecedented. Disruptive, but not unprecedented. So, I mean, to me, that there's a little bit of conflict there. At this point in the history of the world, I don't really believe that there's anything that is unprecedented. There are just things that we can't remember because we didn't place value on them. What do you value? The world has not always been a place where it was so easy to find examples of racism and misogyny and homophobia. There was a time when love was present in everything we did and said. I truly believe that. But I know for certain that there is a time when each and every one of us was nothing but the presence of love, because love is where we came from, and love is where we're going to be. And so now, in spite of the difficulties or the challenges of being right all the time, or not, we have to be the presence of love. Can you do that? I think you can. But you know what makes it easier? And there are studies. Equanimity shows up over and over again in the Buddhist tradition. This way to be balanced in the world. Right? When I think of balance, I think of that time in my imagination that I was on a surfboard and I was in the flow of that wave, in the flow of life, and I was perfectly balanced and sailing through the wind. Now, that, of course, was just in my imagination because I have never been on a surfboard ever. And yet, the stillness that is on that surfboard, I believe, is that same stillness, that same awareness that we receive when we sit in meditation in the silence. Oh, that thing that Buddhists do a lot. that balance of being fully present in this moment and knowing that underneath the wave there might be a shark, and I am safe, and I am free. I'm being told to shut up now. It's not always a kind voice, but sometimes that voice tells us what we need to hear. You are the presence of love in potential. Get still and be that love. Embrace equanimity as a way of life. And then you can always know, I am free. Thanks for letting me share today, friends.
Thank you, Rev Todd, for your message. As I listened to you, it reminded me of a quote that I'd heard from Neil Donald Walsh. It says, see the world with the innocence of children. Approach the world with the daring of children. Love the world with the readiness of children. Heal the world with the purity of children. And change the world with the wisdom of children. And so with that innocence and the depth of love that children reveal to us, I sing one of my songs. Through the eyes of an innocent child. Let me live with a love-filled heart. Let me speak, being kind from the start. Let me love, uninhibited and wild. Let me see through the eyes of an innocent child. Let me see. Open my eyes to see. Let me learn with a curious mind. Let me walk, leaving no one behind. Let me laugh till the lines are etched upon my face. Let me forgive with gratitude and grace. Let me listen without the need to advise. Let me have faith, make any mountain rise, share my joy and dance in the rain. Let me feel everything, even the pain. Let me forgive, open my mind to forgive. Let me feel, open my heart to feel.
child. Let me see through the eyes of an innocent child. Let me see. Oh, let me see through the eyes of an innocent child. Through the eyes of an innocent child. Through the eyes of an innocent child.